Thank you to Welsh National Opera for providing me a review ticket in order for me to do this video. Good evening everyone. Today we're going to talk about Moravian composer Janáček Jenůfa. It's worthwhile noted that prior to last night I did not have the foggiest of who Janáček was, but like all good composers from a young age clearly had musical prowess. So much so that Janáček's father decided to send him to sing in a choir in Brno. But let's not digress, because on this channel we don't talk about Brno. That was a good one there. Nevertheless, we're not here to talk about the life and times of Leos Janáček. We're here to talk about Jenůfa, which I think some comparison could be given to Ibsen's Hedda Gabler. Complicated love interest, claustrophobic domestic drama. This is a kitchen sink drama without the kitchen sink, because back then they didn't have kitchen sinks. Did they have kitchen sinks back then? Did they have kitchen sinks back then? Let me double check. Well, sharpen my knife and play with a ribbon. Don't focus on the plumbing, let's figure out who's using their pipes. So first of all we have Jenůfa, who is in love with Štěpán. She doesn't want him to be conscripted, she wants to marry. She cares for him, she dotes on him, she's enamoured by Štěpán. But because this is an opera, you know, he's not a great guy. Štěpán comes in along with hordes of townspeople, and they are all absolutely drunk. He ends up throwing his money about the place like those early hype beast videos. You know the ones I'm talking about, don't you? Times are tough, and anyone who's sober during this scene knows that this is a bad thing to do. But Štěpán does bring in one of the best musical passages of this entire opera. Like, it's really catchy. Amongst the ruckus, Kostelnička comes in, Jenůfa's stepmom, and stops it all entirely, saying that Štěpán does not have her blessing to marry Jenůfa, and that he has to give up drinking for at least 1 year, which you'd think everyone would be on board, but the townspeople call her hard-hearted. After people scarfer, Štěpán and Jenůfa are left to discuss what has just happened, and she wants Štěpán to know that she wants to marry him, and Štěpán reconfirms that by saying he might not leave. Štěpán. Out stumbles Štěpán, in storms Láka, who doesn't understand how Štěpán has a hold over Jenůfa. She can find someone better. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Láka thinks it's him. An additional problem that arises is that Láka is Štěpán's half brother, and also Jenůfa is his cousin. This family tree gets a little bit crazy, but don't worry too much. Just know that they're all cousins, and these are the three main people you need to pay attention to. Apart from the second act, we'll get there. To end Act 1, Láka lovingly and caringly tells Jenůfa that Štěpán is only in love with her because of her beauty, so then slashes her face. Did I say loving and caring? No, it's not that at all. The second act begins and Jenůfa has had a baby, and her stepmother are talking about, well, this baby's not cried for 8 days. Now, me as a parent of a nearly 4-year-old and a nearly 2-year-old would love to know how on earth you get a kid to not cry for 8 days. Like, I need that. Like, I need it like now. To be fair, even the Mythbusters said that classical music helps with babies, and maybe that's better than the drone metal I'm playing in the house. I wonder who the baby's father is. Well, the baby's called Štěpán, so here's a little pop quiz. Have you been paying? It's Štěpán, yeah, it's Štěpán's. Has he seen the baby? No. The stepmother has to call him to the house and says if he doesn't turn, something bad's going to happen. Štěpán hasn't visited the child or Jenůfa, saying that since her face was cut, he didn't fancy staying around. But you know who did want to stay around? It's the face slasher himself, Láka. The only reason he hasn't been there is that he was told that Jenůfa has gone to Vienna. Now he has to confront that his half-brother has fathered a child with Jenůfa, but Láka feels as though this is a test of love. Could he raise and parent that child? Kostelnička then tells him that, well, the baby died of a fever, so not to worry about that. But we as an audience know that the baby's in the other room with Jenůfa. After Láka leaves, Kostelnička decides to take it upon herself to kill the baby. What happens in the third act, you're gonna have to go and watch the show for that. I've left links below to Welsh National Opera, and if you can go and see this absolutely fantastic opera, I would 100% recommend it. Within the front, the creative director of Welsh National Opera said that this would be a really good intro to opera. And I agree with that sentiment. It is absolutely captivating throughout.